The Citizenship Exam by Alyssa D., Anastasia C., Karen G. The citizenship test is just one step in the naturalization process. These are the requirements to take for the test. You have to be 18 years old, be a lawful permanent resident, green card holder, have resided in the U.S. as a lawful permanent resident for at least 5 years, have been physically present in the U.S. for at least 30 months, be a good person of moral character, be able to speak, read, write, and understand the English language, have knowledge of the U.S. government and history, and be willing and able to take the oath of allegiance. Here's the story of Virginia. She originally came from Albania and has been a citizen for about 30 years. Her husband came to the U.S. with visa and was here for 3 years before she came. Immigration gave them the right for her and her family to come to the U.S. The test used to be called I-94. She had that for 5 years and then had a green card for another 5 years. It took her a total of 10 years before being able to take the exam. She did not speak English and studied for 2 months straight using the disc mainly. Before taking the exam, she had to have police give her fingerprints to have them on file. Her 2 sons also took the exam the same day. When she went to take the exam, she was extremely nervous but did very well and got all 10 questions correct. She had her ceremony and was presented a certificate. Here is Anastasia's story. She and her family have been citizens for 2 years.
It took my family approximately 4 years to receive our green cards, and then we became capable of moving to the U.S. We were sponsored by my grandparents, and then we resided in Michigan for 5 years after obtaining our green cards before being able to apply to take the naturalization exam. We then applied to be able to take the naturalization test, and I have one tip: study, study, study. We were given booklets of 100 questions along with answers and CDs reading the questions and answers off. Those were on replay in my house all day, every day, for months. You are interviewed, asked 10 out of the 100 questions, and you must get at least 6 correct. After the interview, if you pass, you are invited to a citizenship ceremony where you take an oath to the United States and are awarded your citizenship. I was not 18 when my parents took the citizenship test, thus I became a citizen through my parents. There are 2 general ways to obtain a citizenship through U.S. citizen parents. The first is at birth, and the second is after birth, but before the age of 18. Congress has enacted laws that determine how citizenship is conveyed by a U.S. citizen parent or parents to a child born outside of the U.S.
The questions may not seem that difficult. However, for someone who is just learning how to speak and read English, it can be very difficult. How many can you answer correctly? What are 2 rights in the Declaration of Independence? Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the federal government. What is one power of the federal government? What was one important thing that Abraham Lincoln did? If you do not pass, you will be given 2 opportunities to take the English and civics test and answer all the questions relating to your naturalization application in English. If you fail any of these tests at your initial interview, you will be retested on the portion of the test that you failed, English or civics, between 60 and 90 days from the date of your initial interview. After you have passed the test and finished all of the other requirements, there are 2 types of naturalization ceremonies. In a judicial ceremony, the court administers the oath of allegiance, and in an administrative ceremony, the USCIS administers the oath of allegiance. In either ceremony, there are certain expectations. First, you receive a notice to take the oath of allegiance. When the day arrives, you check in at the ceremony. When you return your permanent address card, then you take the oath of allegiance. You also receive your certificate of naturalization. You also have an opportunity to apply for a U.S. passport or a U.S. passport card and register to vote. In conclusion, the citizenship test is an important part of American life. This country was built on immigration, and it has enriched this country both socially and economically. It instills our country with a melting pot culture. This culture is what we consider the American dream. Thank you.